When I reviewed Convict Conditioning about a month ago, I mentioned this book multiple times in my review. This is called Overcoming Gravity by Stephen Lowe. And in the comments, I got many requests asking for my thoughts on this book. So here you go. This is going to be my Overcoming Gravity review. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Minus the Gym video. And really quick, before we jump in, I just want to say thank you to everybody. I mean, literally everybody who's watched one of my videos, especially everyone who's bought some of my t-shirts, right? The merch on the merch shelf down below. And thank you to everybody who has bought Base Blocks equipment with my discount code. I really appreciate all the support. It's been awesome. All right, now let's jump into the book, Overcoming Gravity. And first thing you're going to notice when you get this book is that it's huge. All right, this is, I want to say it's like 500 pages. Yeah, it is 575 pages about. So it's like a textbook. This is a massive book. This isn't something you're just going to buy and you're going to read in a day or two and it's going to, give you some information about calisthenics. This can be years of training right here, literally years. So what exactly are you getting yourself into when you get this book if it's 575 pages? Well, the first thing I want to make clear is that this is not just a program. It's not going to say, okay, if you're a beginner, start here, do this many sets of this exercise for this many reps, and then move on to this. It's not like that. It's not a program just laid out in front of you. It's actually a ton of information. It gives you knowledge. And as I'll explain later, it teaches you how to design your own routine based on your goals. To give you an example of what I mean, the first 23 chapters of this book are just information. All right, information about everything from the basic principles of body weight training to how to train specifically for strength versus hypertrophy, CNS fatigue, which is central nervous system, and what kind of workout frequency is optimal so you rest your CNS enough and you can make progress. The importance of structural balance, right? Making sure that you don't have any muscular imbalances and your joint complexes like the shoulders and the hips especially are working properly and how that can hinder your progress if you don't address that up front. Routine design. He explains exactly how split training versus full body training, how they differ, when you want to use split, when you want to use full body. Then he goes into detail on injuries, all the different possible injuries you can encounter, from the basic muscle strain that I think all of us will experience at some point, all the way to lower back pain from disc issues and shoulder impingement. So there's tons of information on injuries in there. And then finally, you get to the exercise progressions, which I think is what most people are expecting from a book on calisthenics or bodyweight training, right? When you buy a book like this, you expect progressions to be the meat of the book. But really, you don't start learning about exercise progressions and techniques until like page 315 or something like that. Now, something that I find really interesting about how Stephen Lowe categorizes his exercises is he has handstand as one category, and then pull, push, and then a core and legs fourth category. So I thought that grouping of exercises was really interesting. I haven't seen that before. As you'd expect, he starts off each category with the basic version of the exercise, how to get to your standard push-up or standard pull-up or the straight handstand and things like that. And then he advances from there. So taking handstand to handstand push-ups on rings, for example, which is really advanced, and taking push-ups all the way to the planche and so on. So it makes sense. That's logical to start with basic and move on to advanced. And what I really like is how he breaks down every exercise. For example, he'll always start explaining the scapular positioning. So, what should your scapulas be doing during this movement? After explaining the scapular positioning, he moves on to technique. So he tells you exactly how to execute the exercise, and then he gives tips, just helpful hints and tricks and tips that might help you in doing this exercise and advancing it, So overall, the way he breaks down every progression is really good. And I really like that part of the book. Now, to be honest, there are a lot of exercises in this book that I don't really see myself ever pursuing, especially the more gymnastics-style exercises like iron cross, for example. It's just not really my cup of tea. I'm more into the old school calisthenics or street workout stuff, just kind of having fun and and freestyling in a way, but I am kind of rigid with my workouts, but I'm not into gymnastics per se. I'm not going that route of calisthenics. So if that is what you're into, if you're more into gymnastics style calisthenics than the freestyling, street workout stuff, then this book would actually be right up your alley. All right, so now you know what you're getting yourself into when you get this textbook on bodyweight training. And I think I mentioned a lot of the upsides to it, like all the information that he talks about, how you learn how to design your own routine, how he really breaks down every progression really well, talks about scapular positioning, technique, and tips. But now I want to tell you some of the downsides to the book. I do really like this book and I highly recommend it. It's kind of like, the Bible of bodyweight fitness for what I have in my library. But I will say that there are some things that kind of detract from it. For example, it's, as is with all calisthenics, it's really heavy on upper body stuff. There's very little leg exercises in there. It's mainly just the pistol squat that you're going to work towards. And then there's tons of upper body movements. But, that's just kind of how it is. It's not the author's fault. That's just bodyweight fitness. Second thing I want to mention is that the book isn't the most beginner-friendly bodyweight fitness book. All right, there's lots of information for beginners. But just for example, when you get to the exercise progressions near the end of the book and you get to the pushing category, you'll see that the first exercise that you pursue is the planche. And the first progression is the tucked planche, which I know from experience training people and with myself that the tucked planche isn't something that you can immediately just get as a beginner. All right, there could be a lot of lead up to getting that tucked planche. So it's definitely not a super beginner-friendly book. I would say it's more geared towards people who are already somewhat athletic or at least lean. And that's something I just want to mention up front. If you're considering buying the book, but you don't have any previous athletic experience, this might be something you want to get but save for later, or just wait until later to buy. At this point, I think I'm just grasping for straws, trying to find more downsides to this book because I mentioned a lot of upsides and a lot of good things about it, but really I highly recommend it, especially for those of you who are into the gymnastics style approach to bodyweight fitness and calisthenics. Then this is definitely for you. And honestly, even if you're not like myself, I'm more into the freestyle or street workout, or I don't even know what you'd call what I'm into, just the not using a gym style of fitness. But for me, I think the book is worth it just for his general information on periodization, programming in general, workout frequency versus intensity, the SAID principle, all these like more general concepts that he explains really well in the book. I think those alone make it worth it. But then you have all the awesome progressions and everything on top of it. So definitely a great book to have if you're into bodyweight fitness. One thing I forgot to mention is that the book I have is Overcoming Gravity 2nd edition. All right. I don't know how long this edition's been out. It's been at least several years because I've had this for several years. But for those of you who also have Overcoming Gravity 2nd edition, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Do you agree with what I've said? Do you feel differently? Let me know in the comments below. All right. And let me know whatever you want in the comments below. I just love hearing from you guys. And if you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, please drop a like because that helps me out in return. And for those of you new, don't forget to subscribe to Minus the Gym. I'm all about bodyweight fitness, keeping fit and healthy at home, and eating a healthy plant-based diet. All right? So with that said, I'll see you in the next video. Talk to you then.